Hey, good people, this is your NI Dom back with another YouTube reflection, and this is a personal journal for contemplative people looking to think, grow, and have impact in the world. So, hey, I'm getting ready to wrap up a series. I've never done a 7-part series on YouTube, um, but I am responding to another podcast series where this man was physically, financially, sexually, psychologically, emotionally abusive to dozens of women. And the story is presented in a podcast called Something Was Wrong, and this is season 14. Season 14, where these women all come together and they tell the story. And I'm calling the man Tom, but that's not his name, but I'm gonna call him Tom. And so I'm not gonna recap what I've done in each installment, but I just listened to episode 9 of that series, and I had found myself having some really strong emotions. And I think in part because I've been so invested in this project, in the host, really proud of her. I'm not going to say I haven't fell in love with every episode, but for the most part, I've been very proud, very pleased, very satisfied. And so what I encountered in episode 9 felt like a slap in my face as a listener in a conversation about justice. And I felt that I had to experience something that was unjust and I had to come and talk about it. And so it has taken me now 7 parts to do that. I would encourage you to listen to the other 7, but I'm here to wrap it up. I just got one more thing that I want to say. Good grief. Okay. If you're new to this project, this is a personal journal where I process my inner and my outer worlds. I do so by using personality theory. The 2 theories that I use the most are the Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram. Pushing those 2 systems together, I identify as an INTJ8. A number of the other disclaimers that I say on the podcast, you're anti-dom, that I don't say in YouTube. But if you want to know more about those disclaimers and more about me, feel free to go to my website at yourantidom.wordpress.com. So the last thing I want to say, because I think I've covered everything. The last thing I want to say is this concept of what's called womanism versus feminism. And this was the very, very, very first time I felt like a womanist. See, womanism isn't a term that I identify with. I actually identify as a feminist. Not all, but a lot of Black women don't identify with the word feminism. They identify with the word womanism because they said feminism is done through the lens of white women and it doesn't factor in the needs and the concerns of Black women and Black families. As a solo-ish person, I don't have a family. So I don't need my brand of feminism to factor in issues around, the family. And a lot of women is advocate for Black men. And I'm not mad that they do that, but I feel like that's not my push. So I don't even say I'm a Black feminist. I actually say, if you go to the podcast, I say I'm a critical race feminist because you can have Black women who still identify as feminists and they don't have a critical lens. And having a critical lens is that you look at the dynamics of power. Who has the power? How did they get the power? How are they holding the power? How are they using the power? Right? In every situation. And that is the lens in which I examine the world, particularly as a feminist. And so, but listening to how that Black man was groveling for forgiveness for 15 minutes. He was talking and trying to get understanding and get forgiveness. And those women did not give them, he gave him nothing in that recording. Now, what they did offline, and I'm telling you, I've listened to that series, this program enough to know to listen to that host interject often and give compassion and saying, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I understand. And let that brother grovel for 15 minutes and didn't give him any act of compassion or understanding. And it's as old as it is as though he directly violated them, and he didn't. What he didn't act. This is this is what I have to say. I actually have two things to say. The womanist part, but I'm also going to talk about sensibilities. He did not act in a way that those women wanted. He did not make them feel understood. He did not make them feel cared for. He didn't make them feel something. And and true to what a Karen is, excuse me, but a Karen is a white woman who is both powerful and fragile. You guys know I've talked about it. She's both powerful and fragile. And when those two come together, it's brutal. So people think, you think black people started cancel culture? No. Cancel culture, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was driven by white women. And I have the personality hacker, they don't like cancel culture. I've been a fan of, I'm like, sometimes you got to cancel people. But this was low key canceling this man by putting his name out there, putting his business out there because he didn't make them feel a certain way. And the reason why this is personal, that this is another thing that I need to share because I have lost job opportunities for that, and I have dealt with white women's tears because I didn't show up. My affect wasn't something that they can relate to because I don't live my life as a white woman. So my emotionality is not going to be the same. My tonality is not going to be the same. You heard of the term tone policing? We get tone police a lot. This is my first time seeing a black man being tone police, though. But I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Now I'm going to be curious. I'm going to go look up when black men are tone police. But I know for a fact what black women are tone police a lot. It's in the literature. And so that feels horrible. It feels horrible. It feels horrible because he's like, maybe I should have shown up passionate and I didn't show up you don't have to apologize for that. Not you could be sensitive and yeah, but he was on repeat for 15 minutes and got no support in that recording. And for the first time, I was like, oh, this is probably how other women feel because I, as a critical race feminist, cannot stand by and not suffer with that brother. And it is a high chance that he remain in relationship with this Tom guy and he's not honest about it. That's possible. But these women, Tom duped them, and many of them stayed until they were ready to, on their own time, to separate. And they did not give this black man that same level of grace. And they hit him up because of his failed empathy. I'm gonna keep listening, but I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't even listen. This is how offended I am. I probably shouldn't even listen to it anymore. I am going to show it. I'm going to see how it ends. Damn it! This is what I hate about being a critical race feminist because you encounter people who are not conscious, or not committed, and then you got to make a decision what you're going to do. But I know one thing: I'm not going to promote that episode. I'm not going to promote that. I think I might write the lady a letter because I just want to. I still want to believe that if I explain this to her, even if she doesn't agree, that she will have some kind of compassion and understanding. Maybe I could move the needle just a little bit. I don't know, but it did make me feel for the first time like I could relate to womanist theory because I did not like seeing that brother grovel like that. It broke my heart to hear that. I could have cried listening to him do that. I just like, stop. You've already apologized. Stop repeating yourself. It's like you're begging. And then he was apologizing for not sh- showing up emotionally the way they needed. Who dictates that? Who determines that? Oh my God. Ah, I'm gonna have to find the energy to write the lady a letter. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm just gonna have to do it, you guys. Anyway, if this reflection has had any value for you, please give it a like, heart, thumbs up, star. It's this whole conversation, today's reflection, excuse me, episode or reflection number 7, part 7, about womanism and affect and emotionality. If any of that relates to a conversation you've had in the world, please take this link and share it with those participants. But if this entire series where I'm talking about race and justice and allyship, if I would really hope that you can share this, see this 7-part reflection. I know it was choppy, and every time I come back to do another part, I had to recap, so there's a lot of overlap. Um, but I mean, I really hope that you guys can connect to that. And I do, if you heard something that you don't agree with, or if it's something I missed, like I want to be wrong, I hope somebody will do an act of love and contact me on my website, yournidob.wordpress.com. All right. Oh, well, you guys, I'm almost halfway through the break. This is July 10th. I have until well, I'm not halfway through yet. I got to the 31st, and I'll be back on the podcast. But in the meantime, you can find me. I've been posting more on my Substack account. I've been posting on YouTube, and I've been posting on the website. So if you want to stay connected with me during the break, I am here. Okay, you guys, it has been a pleasure hanging out with you. Until I come back, be well. Bye.